Breaking news in the race for the White House, Donald Trump making headlines on several fronts.
That's right. First, there's this, the big headline in the New York Times this morning. The paper has obtained what it says is Donald Trump's state tax return from 1995. It shows a loss of $916 million. That is large enough, the paper says, that Trump may not have had to pay federal income taxes for nearly 2 decades.
And the other Trump story this morning, an overnight speech in which he unleashed on Hillary Clinton in unusually scathing terms, even by Trumpian standards, even going so far as to say that she is not loyal to her husband.
We have it all covered this morning. We'll be talking to the reporters who broke that big tax story. And George, of course, is standing by with his analysis. But we begin here with ABC's Mary Bruce, who is in Washington with the latest. Mary, good morning.
Good morning. Well, the Clinton campaign is calling this a bombshell. Donald Trump's taxes and his refusal to release them have been a central issue in this campaign. And now this morning, for the first time, we're getting a look at some of his actual returns and how he could have transformed red ink into a huge benefit. This morning, the New York Times reporting Donald Trump could have avoided paying federal income taxes for years. Fragments of state records sent anonymously to the Times reportedly show that in 1995, Trump declared more than a $900 million loss, the result of the financial wreckage of 3 casinos, his airline business, and the purchase of New York's Plaza Hotel. The deduction so large it could have allowed Trump to legally avoid paying federal income taxes for up to 18 years. Trump didn't deny it on last week's debate stage.
They showed he didn't pay any federal income tax. So
that makes me smart.
And he isn't denying it now. His campaign saying in a statement that Mr. Trump is a highly skilled businessman who has a fiduciary responsibility to his business, his family, and his employees to pay no more tax than legally required.
Well, I'll tell you what, if not paying taxes makes him smart, what does that make the rest of us?
Breaking with precedent, Trump has repeatedly refused to release his tax returns until a routine audit is complete.
At some point, we'll release. There's no rush. Why is there such a rush? I'm supposed to rush like crazy?
Until he does, Clinton is hammering the billionaire businessman for hiding his financial dealings.
It's probably true he hasn't paid a penny in federal taxes to actually support our military or our vets or our schools.
Now, this morning, the Clinton campaign is blasting Trump, saying the Times report shows he avoided paying taxes while working Americans paid theirs. They say it's all the more reason why he should go ahead and release his full returns. Dan?
Mary, thank you. Joining us now are 2 of the New York Times reporters who broke this story, Russ Buettner and Megan Twohey. Welcome to you both. Thank you for coming in. Megan, let me start with you. Who sent these documents? Do you have any idea?
Well, that remains a mystery. A week ago Friday, my colleague Sue Craig went to her mailbox, and a week ago Friday there was an envelope typed to her at front that was said to have come from the Trump Organization, and she opened it, and there were tax return records for Donald Trump.
But how do you know these returns are legit?
Well, there's a reason. So she received those a week ago Friday, and we published our story last night. So there was a lot of work that went in between her receiving them and us publishing the story. And I think the big breakthrough for us came midweek when our colleague David Barstow traveled to Florida and actually met with Trump's accountant, the man whose signature was on one of the forms that we had received, who had prepared his taxes in 1995 and could confirm that, yes, in fact, these records are legitimate.
Russ, Trump's attorney, as you know, because you quoted him in the article, is threatening to sue here because he says that Trump did not authorize this disclosure. Does the attorney have a case?
Not as far as our attorneys are concerned. No, you can commit a crime if you steal a document like that, obtain it illegally maybe, but opening your mailbox is not a crime.
Now, Trump has said when confronted with the possibility that he may not have paid federal income taxes, that makes him smart. From the perspective of a businessman, does he have a case there?
That's open to judgment, right? It's definitely a line of tax avoidance that's open to people who own businesses through partnerships. And he would be smart if he had access to it to do it. I think people who paychecks, a portion of them go to the federal government every week, whether they do anything or not, might view that differently.
Russ, thank you. Megan, thank you. Really appreciate you coming in this morning.
Thanks, Dan.
Cecilia, over to you.
Okay, Dan, thank you.